Now is our time where we get to take our prayer a little bit more deeply into our form of meditation. So I invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes. And we'll take some deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out, letting your exhale being longer than your inhale. Breathing in, and now out. Settling your body into your chair. Just letting your shoulders relax off of your earlobes. There's no place we have to be. We're just being present here and now in this perfect moment. Spending time acknowledging the presence and the power of God that we are. So I invite you to see that breath going in and out of your heart space. Centering you into that divine sacred place within you. And as you're breathing in and out of your heart space, I invite you to think of something or someone or some place that you love so dearly that when you think of this person, place, or thing, maybe it's a pet, right? That when you think of this, it just wells up in your heart and it just opens your heart wide. And that breathing in and out of your heart space, thinking of this cherished one. I invite you to see that breath going in and out of you as a pink light of love. It expands all the way up to the top of your head, and as you breathe it out, it breathes down through your body, through your legs, through the bottoms of your feet. And that pink light grounds you in love right here in Mother Nature, in the earth. Like mighty roots growing beneath your feet, you are centered and grounded now in this love, this unconditional love that you are, which is a gift of God. It is a gift of who you came here to be. It is one of your 12 powers. It is how you have come to express as these Christed beings. And so we just feel that centered and groundedness, and our hearts are wide open as we experience that love, that unconditional love of God that we are. This feeling that you have that opens your heart so much. It makes that pink light expand outside of your chest, and it goes out, and that beautiful vibration of light surrounds the person sitting on either side of you, in front of you, in back of you. You are an amazing love light now, and it expands and it goes out all through the sanctuary, all through those of you that are at home. It touches everyone in your home, everyone in your community, no matter where you are. You express that love out. And we see it, this beautiful pink light that we have created right here in the sanctuary is going out beyond the walls into our communities. We are sending our love to the world beyond. We are seeing now as if the earth is a small, tiny ball right in front of us, and we can see that pink light surrounding every body on the planet. That's how powerful and mighty our love vibration is. We send it to every single sentient being on the planet. And we feel the gratitude that those who are receiving it are feeling. And we bask now in the silence as we continue to send out that magnificent love from our heart space in the silence. Because God is love, God is, I am, each and every one of us is the gift of love to this planet. There is no end to this love. It is infinite. You can't out-love God in you. You are the expression of the one. God has no hands or feet, ears, eyes, or mouth. That's us living as Jesus taught us, as the Christed beings that we came here to be. And so that love just flows from us when we choose that way of beingness. There is nothing that enough love cannot heal. It is the healing harmonizer of the world. And so we're grateful. We're grateful for these teachings that allow us to know how powerful we are when we stand in the truth of our beingness as these divine ones who came here to be the light, to be the love. And so we say thank you for this opportunity to remember together, to hold that, to send that out, and then to receive that back into our hearts, to feel it and to know that unconditional love that we are. We're so grateful for this time that we can reflect and know this amazing truth about who we came here to be. And so now we begin our time of returning to the sanctuary, to your seats at home, wherever it is that you are, to the physical presence, and with hearts filled with gratitude. We say thank you. Thank you for knowing the truth. And so it is. Amen. I love the expression on your faces when you're in meditation. It makes my heart feel so good. So, in 1955, there was a group of 180 teenagers, and they were on a retreat on a mountain area in California. And they were singing a song of peace. Now, they felt like, because of their intention of being peace, of holding peace, of sending it out, that they were going to make a difference in the peace. And so their song was, "Let there be peace on earth." That's when that song began its journey worldwide, was in 1955. That's how long that song has been around. Now, the lyrics were written by Jill Jackson Miller. And it came out of her failed suicide attempt when she was having a spiritual experience after her marriage ended. She had a bout of depression, and because of that, she had this experience where she felt the unconditional love of God that she had never, ever felt in her life. So see, something good came out of that. She realized that we are all totally loved, totally accepted, just the way we are. And she knew that. And she also knew in that moment that she was having that experience that she was here for a purpose. There's a reason she didn't leave the planet that day. There's something she's supposed to do, and she's supposed to write more songs. And so she met Cy Miller, and they married in 1949. And they wrote music together. And at some point, Cy took her words, "Let there be peace on earth," our favorite song that we sing every Sunday at the end of church, right? He put music to it. And then he carried that song to the mountains of California to the 180 teenagers. And that's where the song was birthed. Isn't that an amazing story? You never know what's going to come of something that can be tragic, right? But something good can always come from that. We wouldn't have that song had Jill not had that experience. So it's a wonderful, wonderful story. So this is our theme for December. We're talking about joy, and we're going to talk a lot about joy next Sunday. But this is our theme for the whole month because it's Christmas time. So let's say our affirmation together. The joy of the Lord is a wellspring within me. Now, what I love about that is that word wellspring. That's what I wanted you to feel in meditation. It is not dependent, the joy in us is not dependent on things out here being good for us. It has nothing to do with that. That joy is innate in us. We have to let that joy out. And so we feel it. During the holidays, some people struggle through holidays. Some of us love it, love it, love it, every bit of it, every piece and bit of it. In my family, we're especially experiencing joy because Raylan's going to be 2 on Monday. You know, I have a 16-year-old granddaughter and a 2-year-old granddaughter, same family. So we're dealing with teenagers driving and babies learning to talk. So there's a lot of joy in our family right now. So we're experiencing that, and we're celebrating that amazing little light that she already is. So this week of Advent is all about the love. Now, right now, divine love enters into the scene of our Christmas story, where you see Mary chose with faith and trust, not knowing how the story was unfolding for her. She welcomed that divine love into her life, even though it was incomprehensible all that was going on when the angel visited her. Without knowing where the journey could take her, she chose to willingly embrace that divine love for her unborn child. So it is for us, you see, that divine love awaits to be born in us. That's what Advent is all about. It's to remind us, because as Archangel Gabriel said, nothing will be impossible with God. So it is up to us to release that love within us, just as it is to release the joy. So we have this Sunday and one more Sunday of our 100 Years of Daily Word. And in celebration of that, today we are August 28th, 1983. The affirmation is, God has given me a mind of wisdom and a heart of love. Let us consider how skillfully we are fashioned by our Creator. The psalmist declares that we are created a little lower than the angels. How magnificent our gifts and abilities truly are. God has given us a mind of wisdom and a heart of love. These are indeed splendid tools for effective living. With God's gift of wisdom, we can focus our thoughts on those things which promote an awareness of his infinite blessings. With our minds guided by God's wisdom, we can be channels through which his forgiveness, patience, acceptance, and grace flow into our lives and through us into the lives of others. You see, we're channels, aren't we? We're channels for all of this. With God's gift of love, we can approach every situation and all people with peace and understanding. With our hearts centered in love, we are able to behold the Christ in all those with whom we share our lives. Isn't that the focus of Jesus' ministry? That we know the love of God in us and that we know the love of God in all people, irregardless. So our co-founder of Unity, Charles Fillmore, once said, "One should make it a practice to meditate regularly on the love idea in the universal mind with this tiny little prayer." It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. You can all remember this. Divine love, manifest thyself in me. You're asking to be the love that you came here to be. It's so simple, but this one little meditation produces a positive love current, which when sent forth with power, will break up any opposing thoughts and render them null and void, Fillmore says. The love current is not a projection of the will. It's not our personal will. It is a setting free of a natural, equalizing, harmonizing force that in most people has been dammed up by human limitation. So some people have a tendency to guard their hearts, to withhold their love. Maybe there's fear. Maybe they got heartbroken and they're afraid to have that happen to them again, right? So they're withholding. They've built this shield around their hearts and they're not open to the love that God has for them to express. So asking is so important to express that love more freely through us, as us, because that's who we came here to be. So I discovered this book by Eric Butterworth. In his book, it's called The Concentric Perspective. And he has this chapter in that book, it's called Concentrics and Love. And he says that when we live from the outside in, life tends to become a matter of things happening to us. We become other-directed. And we're always on the defensive. Almost anyone can push our buttons because we're not allowing the love that we are to live through us. We're letting life happen to us instead of standing in our power and our strength and our consciousness and creating the life that we want. We're sitting back like victims. So this can lead to loneliness, Butterworth says, which is only because the person has lost their center. They are blocking their own divine flow. As spiritual beings, we always have the freedom to love. We have that choice, and it emanates from Unity's first principle, which is what? God is. God is all there is. 100% of the time, right? Omnipresent means God is everywhere, at every point in the universe, and especially within us. We do not love because we are loved, and only if we are loved. We love because God first loved us. It is who we are. It is our divine DNA, you see. Love always flows forth from within, to the degree that we let it. Now there's that favorite three-letter word, let. We have to let it flow from us. Otherwise, we don't experience it. If we're not being that, then we're not experiencing that in our lives. So any relationship conflict can be healed by getting centered in your love flow. Omnipresence of God means that there is a dynamic activity of harmony and love everywhere. It's always present in our inmost center within you, and it's a transformational power. It's a transcendental power as well. So you can live in that place that blocks it because you can stay in that victim consciousness. Unity teaches 4 levels of consciousness. If you take metaphysics, you already know what these are. Those of you that have been studying with Reverend Eileen and Kathy Schwanke, you know there are 4 levels, and the first one is victim. That's the lowest one. Oh, poor me. Everything's always happening to me. Then there's the victor consciousness. It's a little bit better. A little bit better. And then there's vessel consciousness, when you realize you're here to be a channel of love and all of that. And then the 4th level, where we really aspire to live out of, is verity consciousness. That's the oneness. That's when you know the presence and the power of God is in everyone, no matter how they are appearing to you in your life. You see it, you know it, you believe it. So Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, right? He told us everything in the New Testament that we need to know to be able to live the love that we came here to be. In other words, what he's saying is stop resisting and start loving. Don't hold it back. You're not going to get it if you don't share it from yourself, right? From your heart. So you may say something like, I tried really hard to love them, but it was more than what I could do. I really tried. I really did try. Well, trying is not doing. Trying gets you nowhere. Because what? Loving is being. Loving is knowing the truth of who you are. It is being the love that you came here to be. Big difference. You can try all you want. You're not going to get there. So you can alter your thoughts and you can resolve any discord by changing your perspective and changing your thinking about how you're seeing this other person, right? So let's talk about a little example. So say you've been to a wonderful truth seminar, a class, or some workshop, and you're just feeling really good, it pumped you up. You're like, yeah, I can live this, I can do this. So then you go down the street and you're standing on the corner, ready to catch the bus or waiting for a ride or whatever, and a big, huge bus comes by and hits a big water puddle and splashes water all over you. You're soaking wet. Now, this is the test. Are you ranting and raving? Are you saying curse words? Are you having a hissy fit because you're soaking wet, standing on the side of the road? Or are you going, oh my God, look at this, right? Because if you're reacting from a place of anger in that moment, guess what? What you were feeling was simply a facade. It wasn't real. What you thought, you felt so good and uplifted by that workshop. Deep inside of you, there is unresolved anger, frustration, something else you would not have reacted in that way. Do you see? It's a hard lesson. It's a hard lesson to stay in that verity consciousness and to be that love no matter what happens to you. It's a hard lesson to learn, but it's truly the way it is. So I'm going to take you to our scripture for today. We are also in Corinthians, just like the Daily Word today, We're in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and we're on verse 1, which says, you know this one, if I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. You can kind of hear that noise, right? You can kind of hear that noise. It's kind of irritating. So the tongues of mortals, metaphysically is how we interpret the Bible, represent the expressions of head knowledge, intellectual thoughts, intellectual words. The tongues of angels, however, represent the expression of our spiritual truth. There's love back of it. So our words are like a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal when they're just words we're spewing and there's no love in them. Right? So we must speak with the consciousness of divine love if we would exercise our God-given power, which is to build, to bless, to heal our planet. We have to have words of love always, so we can know the quality of our love by measuring it against the Jesus Christ standard. So what does the bumper sticker say? What would Jesus do? What would Jesus say if he was standing by the bus soaking wet? He'd laugh. He'd laugh. Oh my God. He would laugh. If our thought is for things of the world and the temporal relative world, our love is personal and mortal. But when our divine compassion and our consideration for all of creation and the good of all fills our minds and hearts, then that love is truly spiritual, because we love all people, irregardless of how they're showing up. So I often find in my spiritual counseling practice that when people come in, often it's because they are disturbed by someone else's behaviors. And what they would like to know is how to make it better, how to fix it. So that's not the case any longer, right? That's what they would like to know. And so I have a go-to. I learned it a long time ago because this stuff really works when you use it. And that is, when you have someone who is irritating you, getting on your nerves, whatever, is going on, all you have to do is see them in your mind's eye and say, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, I behold the Christ that you are. And I'm telling you, every time that irritation comes up, you do it again, you do it again, you do it again, you keep doing it until your heart melts, you see. Until you change your own consciousness and realize that those words are true. Realize that everyone is a child of God. And people are only acting out of what they know. Everybody's doing the best job that they can with what they got, right? And so to love them for where they are and love them that they're on their own path, right? So affirming with them that omnipresent God is our principal one in unity. And so as we share our love, it lifts everybody up. It lifts everyone. It not only allows us to see others as the expression of the Christ, but it also lets them feel themselves as the Christ. They may not know who they are, but we're holding it for them. We're seeing it for them. Because I'll tell you what, love not only breaks down the walls between ourselves and others, but it also breaks down the walls that others have built around themselves and their own Christ nature. We're helping to lift everybody up by acknowledging the Christed beings that they are. So we're affirming with them the truth of who they are. And when you are around someone and you're in that kind of energy, they feel your love. They feel it. They are able to express it more because they suddenly realize who they are. So we let our direction be guided by love. Let us see the Christ within others and within all of our experiences, especially during the holidays. You know, keep your joy meter open. And let us fully accept the power of love as it brings us into greater unity with ourselves, within ourselves and within others. So how do you want to show up this holiday season? I invite you to become a role model, to live the Jesus Christ standard. If you wish to live in a world filled with beauty and peace and love and harmony, then live your life that way. Be that, and others will notice you, and they'll want to know what you got that they don't have. Because they'll feel it in your vibration, because you'll be filled so with love and joy and gratitude for all that you have. There's an Emerson quote that I really like that says, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Right? Create your own. So our job always is to do our own work, first and foremost. Do our own work. Change our own consciousness. Remember who we are and show up as that. Dissolving prejudices, healing things that we don't even know need to be healed in our subconscious by changing our consciousness, by beefing up our spiritual practices, right? We can be that light. We do this by becoming an ambassador of love. That's our work. You will become a positive influence on the community, and you will be centered in a circle of protection. No harm will come to you when you are an ambassador of love, because that's what you came here to be in the first place. In fact, everyone who gets around you when you are being that is going to be uplifted by your vibration, by your energy, by who you're showing up as. If more and more of us do this work, and we keep at it, and we keep at it, soon our city, our state, our nation, our planet will feel the effects of it. That's why this message is so important, because love truly is the answer. Okay, enough preaching. I see some of you are, I don't know if you're sleeping or if you're just like, oh, should get done? Nah. Okay, so this joke is about Holmes and Watson. My husband used to be crazy about Sherlock Holmes. Holmes and Watson went on a camping trip in a pup tent in the moors. And Holmes wakes up in the night, and he looks up, and he sees the stars, and he nods, he wakes up Watson, and he says, "Watson, look up, what do you see?" And Watson says, "I see the night sky filled with stars." And Holmes says, "Well, what do you make of it?" And he said, "Well, I know that there is a creator of the world that is magnificent, that is omnipotent." And Holmes says, "You dolt. What it means is someone stole our tent." I didn't know what a dolt was, but that's what the joke said. You dolt. It's cute, isn't it? Yeah, it must be a British term. So I'm going to close. This is Life is for Loving, another Eric Butterworth thing. I am a creature of love, created in and of love. I am in love with life, and life is in love with me. I am the work of God made visible through his love, and my work is to let this love express in me and as me. and let it overflow through the work of my hands and the creativity of my mind. I love to work because my work is the continuation of God's work in me. As I do my work with love, the activity of God works through me to make my work easy, joyous, and fulfilling. And my work will bring prosperity and success to me in abundant ways. However, I will not let these ends be the objects of my work. Only the spilling over of the fullness of love in me being made visible. That is our work. Thank you so much. God bless. Now we get to take from our own good and transfer that blessing into the blessing of this ministry, whether you gave online or mailed in a check or you're punching that button or hitting the breeze link. We don't care how it comes. We're just incredibly grateful for the generosity of this community. So we're going to bless our tithes and gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.